Truly, what a difference a year does make.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there has been changes, obviously, here, compounded, of course, by the pandemic and some of the world's most stringent restrictions, including, of course, those lengthy quarantines, which are now being semi-relaxed. But yes, it's been a very difficult year for some in society and for the government. Well, they think it was necessary, the national security law, to bring stability back to the city after all those protests. And I remember talking with Michael Teen. He was a delegate, a Hong Kong delegate to China's legislature. He said on the day a year ago, he said it is more difficult, more tougher law than he had anticipated. And his bottom line was just stay out of politics. Well, this is a city that has prided itself on having, you know, a vibrant pro-democracy camp, used to have a vibrant pro-democracy camp, and also, of course, a vibrant media. And the question right now, after 365 days under the national security law, has there indeed been a chilling effect on the pro-democracy camp? Well, yes, that's probably not debatable. But has there been a chilling effect on the press? Has there been a chilling effect on the arts and expression? Because there's a new censorship law as well for movies. There's been broad application of this bill, which government officials a year ago said would only affect a small minority of the city. But it's pervasive in all strata of society. These are the four main crimes under the national security law: inciting secession, subversion, collusion with foreign forces, and terrorism. And these can be used broadly, and that's why we're looking at the court cases that are now finally trickling to the high court that we'll have to watch. But here's a stat I'll leave you with right now. Out of the four-fifths of the 117 people so far arrested under the national security law, they've been accused of offenses related to the things that they say, chanted, published, or held up on a banner. So many people here say that is a direct challenge to their freedom of speech, which is protected under the basic law. So you can tell I've only scratched the surface of the main issues here, 365 days under the national security law.
So when you have a very vague and broad laws, sometimes courts can really help clarify where
right.
those, the borders of that law are.
Sure.
Given that we have that first trial under the national security law, could we get some more clarity?
Well, that's why we are looking at this case, which started last week for Tong Yin Kit. He is that 24-year-old former restaurant worker who allegedly rode his motorcycle into a police barricade carrying a banner that incited revolution, if you will. There's interpretation as well of the actual Chinese meaning of the banner that he carried, which the courts supposedly will, decipher, of course. But again, there's no jury here. Under the national security law, the Justice Secretary can request that the trials be preceded by a panel of 3 judges. So we have 3 judges deciding his fate. And there will be, of course, lots of watching of this case for the other people who will come next, like Jimmy Lai, presumably, and others who have been charged under the national security law if their cases hit trial. What are the procedures of the court? There's no precedence. There's no legal precedence here with the national security law and whether it contradicts the basic law.